Well, here's a few news stories I thought were interesting. Let's see if I can get past the garbage. All right, so this guy, Patrick Garrity, I think Teamy's up to show up here. Yeah, this is from Vulncheck. I guess it's a company. But what he did was he looked up who reported known exploitation in the wild for the last 20 years. And Google's Project Zero is a big player. CISA is a big player, which is really impressive because I've only heard of them for like the last 3 years. I think they're relatively new. And Shadow Server, I didn't know about them all. They're the biggest. Here's Palo Alto, here's Microsoft, here's Cisco, here's Twitter. And so these are the people that reported real exploitations in the wild. So it's pretty interesting to see. And the main thing I'm impressed by is finally our government is helping us. This is one thing the United States has been really behind on, is the government helping with cybersecurity. Until just a few years ago, it was the government way behind and the private sector way ahead. And when you talk to like FBI agents and stuff, they'd be way behind. Now they really caught up in a hurry. CISA is really hot, and they have a lot of good papers and a lot of advice. I was consulting for a company, and they wanted an AI security policy, and I found a good U.S. government AI security policy from November or December last year. So they are right, and it was good paper too, and that's what I want. I mean, you want to tell somebody what to do, you want to be able to refer to a real authoritative source, and that's an authoritative source. So I'm glad to see it. Our government takes a long time to warm up, get up to speed, but they're doing pretty good work now. So it looks like maybe they are going to really ban TikTok in America. Try more. It's already banned everywhere I deal. It's already banned off military servers, off government devices, and corporate devices. Most of them have decided to ban it, a lot of them. So I had to take it off my phone because my consulting. I was thinking about it. I heard once again of like all kinds of people on TikTok. If I wanted to use TikTok, I'd have to get a second phone, which I've considered it if it's that important, but I never get any good out of it anyway. But it's where all the young kids are, but I think I have no hope of communicating to them anyway. We'll see. But I couldn't make any sense out of it. It just seemed like nothing but TV commercials to me when I looked at it. I guess I need a media consultant that understands TikTok if I'm going to go there, but I don't really need to. So anyway, so this is a pretty good idea, and people wouldn't believe it. And there used to be something called wire-guided missiles. Back in like World War II or Vietnam or something, they would have a wire. It'd have like a mile or two of wire, and they control missiles that way, not through radio. And the Russians now have made drones that lay fiber optic cable, and it goes up to 10 kilometers. And so this is all the Russian drones look like this. They look like a hobbyist made it out of cardboard and parts. Russian technology is very often this way, and often American pieces. They take like American game consoles and stuff and build military weapons out of it. And so this is it. This is the Russian drone that was bombing somebody, and in this egg-shaped container is just a roll of fiber optics. And it spools the fiber optics out behind it, and they said it's got 10 kilometers of fiber optics, and it works. And this way you can't jam it. So that's an interesting thing, and you know, I would probably also have said that would never work. But apparently it works. So this is pretty remarkable. I mean, so Katie Porter lost the primary in California to become senator. And she could argue that the other side did pretty dirty tricks. Schiff had most name recognition. She was probably a shoo-in anyway. But he did something which is becoming quite common. He paid for the Republican ads in order to promote the worst Republican candidate. The Democrats have been doing this for years. They promote the most MAGA extreme candidate. And all kinds of commentators said, this isn't very wise. What if that guy wins? Then you made things worse. But most of the time, it works. That guy's so crazy that he can't win, and you're shoo-in. So that's what he did. And so she felt abused. So she said the system is rigged. He had all this money, and he spent it doing unfair things, which is a really unwise thing to say, considering that Trump says election is rigged, and what he means is the voting machines are rigged and voting doesn't matter. So you should just abandon democracy and make me the king. So it's pretty unwise for Democrats to be saying that. That's a really stupid thing to say at a really bad time. So,
what do you know about Stu Gardner?
About who?
Baseball player. That's it.
I know nothing about who.
Steve Gardner.
And I know nothing about him.
But he can become a senator.
Well, that's who the right-wing guy was. Yeah, he's betting that he can't. Can a Republican actually win in California? I mean, I think he's right that if he ran against any Republican, it's a shoo-in in California. So I think he didn't want to run against another Democrat. That would have been harder. No, I don't know anything about that guy in particular. Just, I think no Republican has any chance of becoming senator in California anytime soon. Unless you were to have some incredible scandal about Schiff. Like if he was caught, sleeping with prostitutes and lying about it, that might actually bother the Democrats. Doesn't seem to bother Republicans anymore. 10 years ago, it would have bothered Republicans, but anyway. But as far as I know, Schiff doesn't have any weakness like that. Anyway,
No, but the Russian investigation didn't seem like they got anything out of that.
well, that's true, but I don't think any Democrats hold that against him. I mean, he didn't do the Russia investigation, which a lot of people think was justified. He didn't succeed. I mean, none of this stuff is going to succeed. I mean, Trump is skating through almost all these legal things. I mean, I don't think anybody holds it against you if you can't bring Trump down, because he's pretty hard to bring down. That's why I remember it asked me about him like 6 years ago, and I said, they should go after his financial crimes, just because I used to work in financial work. And I said, there you can prove things. That seems to be true. The civil suits are getting him. But the criminal stuff, I think he can skate, get a good lawyer. He has arguments you can make. Looks like he's going to skate on all the criminal stuff. But the civil stuff seems to be bringing him down. They got Al Capone on tax fraud. That's where you usually get him on. That's where you have simple documents. You can prove things. They can't prove the really bad things you do. They can prove the sleazy things you do. So HP is making AI PCs. They're advertising it. The thing that's interesting about this is these claim to be post-quantum secure. So down here someplace, they claim to have secured the bootloader, which is a weak spot, and they claim to have secured it with post-quantum cryptography. Let me see if I can find their statement, because it's a pretty screwy thing to say, and pretty interesting. There, HPQ. All I see is the HPQ. I wonder if I can get a clear... I don't know what they mean by that. It sounds pretty bogus to me. Okay. HP implements a quantum-resistant cryptographic scheme to protect the integrity of the UEFI BIOS firmware. So this seems to me, anybody advertising post-quantum is pretty much garbage. I mean, because quantum computers don't do anything yet, and they aren't going to do anything for 10 or 20 years, and several of the proposed post-quantum algorithms have failed, so there is absolutely no reason to build post-quantum in right now, and if they're doing it, it's just kind of a bogus selling point. Anyway, especially bootloader. I mean, bootloaders have pretty much no security. Anyway, but that's what they're doing. All right. So I think I'll stop.